in Akwa Ibom State and was taken to Bayelsa, and of course will generate around the South region. And the student union body have said that failure for the federal government to adhere to its rules and instruction, and of course ensure that as to return to school, they're going to shut down economic activities across the South region. And this is going to happen after 21 days ultimatum that they issued as a part of the peaceful protest. And let's just say we hope that probably before then, the secret negotiations between ASU and the federal government will get to yield fruitful result and we have an announcement that will lead to the students to end the protest and, of course, get back to school, which is one thing Nigerians are praying for, not just Nigerian parents, not just Nigerian students, but the entirety of the world in the interest of the educational system. And moving away from that, the second motion that we have on the floor of the House is the 2023 presidential post-primaries, talking about the PDP. You recall that Atiku emerged as the presidential flag bearer, and then we'll be looking at that and what it portends for national unity, the lessons learned, and the agitations arising as a result of the just concluded PDP presidential primaries. Moving away from motion number 2, at number 3 motion we have Akwa Ibom State business environment, benefits, challenges, and the way out. Now, you would recall that as a result of the May 29 speech that Governor Domi Manjul made, he cited the instances and the businesses and industries that his administrations have been able to set up as part of his completion agenda, which he says will open Akwa Ibom up and has already opened Akwa Ibom up to business opportunities. Against that backdrop, we'll be looking at the Akwa Ibom business environment before the era of the Dakada philosophy and the present administration. And then, of course, during the present administration and the industrialization agenda. And then going forward, what are the possible businesses that might crop up in the towns of Akwa Ibom State? What are the basic structures that will ensure that these businesses are sustainable? What are the challenges that businesses, the SMEs and MSMEs in Akwa Ibom State are currently facing or might be facing, and what are the possible solutions that the state government and relevant government agencies need to urgently address if we are to transform Akwa Ibom from a civil service state to an entrepreneurial hub or an industrial hub, which is the dream of the present administration. And moving away from that, at number 4 and possibly the last motion on the floor of the House for today's plenary session is the alleged 80 billionaire fraud by the Accountant General of the Federation, Idris. And of course, reports coming from the EFCC says the acting AGF in the person has been indicted by the EFCC. Recall that shortly after his arrest, the federal government had announced Anamekwe Ngabuoku as the acting accountant general of the Federation, and he was directed to work in strict compliance with the provisions of the Ministry of Finance budget and location. And of course, as a result of that, he takes over from Idris. But then the question Nigerians are asking at this point in time, considering the fact that he was a permanent secretary in the ministry before his appointment as the acting accountant general, and then following his indictment by the AFCC that he was part and his name has been mentioned during investigation in the 80 billionaire fraud as concerns Idris, the former accountant general of the Federation. What is the fate that he is going to be transparent and he is going to deliver to Nigerians what he was appointed to do? And these 4 motions are the motions that we have on the floor of the House, and we will kickstart today's conversation, the plenary session, by connecting our first guest via phone, talking about Mr. Victor Onomo, who is a public affairs analyst and, of course, a political analyst, as he will help us understand the nitty-gritties that concerns the Atiku Abubakar's emergence and the issues that we're looking at. You would recall that presently at this point in time, there have been agitations coming up from different angles, and those agitations basically points to the fact that presently at the national level, you have the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Iyocha, coming from the north. You have the national youth leader, Mohammed Suleiman, coming from the north. You have the chairman of the Governors Forum, Aminu Tambuwal, still from the north. And of course, you have the Board of Trustee chairman of the People's Democratic Party, still coming from the north in the person of Walid Jebrim. And you'll recall that Section 7, subsection 3C of the PDP Constitution, as concerns elective positions or the distributions of power and structure within the party, says that everything within the party when it concerns leadership must be done in the spirit of equity, justice, and fairness as far as elective positions are concerned. And now you would ask the question, considering the fact that the national chairman, the national youth leader, the chairman of Governors Forum, the board of trustees chairman, and of course, now we have the presidential candidate in the person of Elijah Atiku Abubakar coming also from the north. What does that portend for democracy in Nigeria? What does it mean for the People's Democratic Party? And then the politics of loyalty also comes into play, where persons have said, citing instances way back from 2011, 2007, and 2011 down to 2015, where the person of Wike was strongly behind some successes or success story for the person of Tambuwal within the People's Democratic Party, who unfortunately, as at the point of the presidential aspiration, had to side camp with Atiku Abubakar. And that is an issue that a lot of persons say is a threat to the internal democracy of the People's Democratic Party. At parliamentarians at this point in time, I'm will try to make a call to make sure that we connect with our panelists. And once we do that, and of course, we'll be filling out the phone lines so you can get to contribute and be part of what is happening on the People's Parliament today. On that note, remember the numbers to call in will be displayed in no time. Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Francis.
Good morning. Good to have you join us. You are live on Planet 101.1 FM on the People's Parliament.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
All right. Today, the first thing we are looking at, Mr. Onomo, is the PDP presidential primaries that saw the emergence of Atiku Abubakar. You would recall that at this point in time, before the PDP presidential elections, there were agitations from the southeast, particularly the southern part of Nigeria, and some sections of the northern part and the southwest, also clamoring that it was about time for the number one seat to be zoned to the area where the Igbos will get to be at the arms of power, at the head of affairs in Nigeria. And then you will also recall that within that same time, we had the South-South PDP's Governors Forum meeting on several occasions, where they oftentimes would come out and tell Nigerians that they will not support any presidential leader that is not of presidential flag bearer that is not from the South or from the South region. But unfortunately, we saw what played out at the just concluded PDP presidential primaries. Given the situation and the scenario that played out, what would you say has been the reason why the South-South governors could not align forces or join forces to see through the emergence of the person of Wike?
About a person, Wike would probably have also stood down for someone. It could be anybody among them that went for that primary. You understand me? So what we really want to see at this moment, or what we wish to see, is a sort of a cooperation among them. If they were united, whether they win the election or not, if they were united on that purpose, it would have been one thing, because it amounts to public deception to think that to have you meet people, you promise the people, you talk with the people, you give the people the confidence that their interest is being protected in the national sphere, only for you to get there and do something else. And what really played out most painfully is that without waiting for some time, they rushed to congratulate the winner of that election, even when they had taken position, without waiting, without coming back as the people. Because if they had cooperated and they lost that election, they would have come back, all the governors would have come back and take a collective position. Now, because they're angling just after the election, congratulatory message started pouring in, we should conspire against themselves. Now, let me also clear one issue of power rotation. Don't be deceived. The PDP constitution that talks about power rotation does not talk about northwest, southeast, southwest, south, and all that. What the Constitution talks about is power rotation between the north and the south.
Yeah.
That is what is between the north and the south. It does not say northeast. So when you see people bring in that kind of sentiment, it is just bringing that sentiment to deprive the people of their rights.
But going by that same constitution, in as much as it has stated clearly that the power rotation should be between the south and the north, considering the fact that we have a sitting president who is from the north, it was expected that this time around the PDP would zone it to the south.
The truth is that the power ought to come to the south. There's no way it can be spared. And the most painful aspect of it is that going to the north, Buhari is a Fulani man. Atiku is also a Fulani man. It's not as if Hausa man is taken from there. It's not as if a Tipi man is taken from there to say, okay, let's draw sympathy from there. It's not as if a Kanuri man is choosing to say, okay, let's get the sympathy from there. It's not as if it is the Lupe man that is choosing. There are so many other tribes up north. So when you do like that, it means you are now bringing Nigeria to a situation where to that belief or making people hold fast to that belief that there is a Fulani agenda. Here you have a Fulani man on seat, and the next thing you are now giving a ticket to another Fulani man. There are other people that be Rome. There are other smaller tribes in the north as well. So even if power had to go to there, what about the people in the valley of Taraba? What happened to those ones? Why is it another Fulani man? So that is the question we are asking. The truth be told, because anything we do today, there is posterity. Our children will come back to read the history of what we have portrayed today and begin to judge us by what we have done. The truth is this: power should move. Power has gone to the north, whether it's under APC or PDP. Because, you see, if you ask me, I will always tell anybody who cares to listen. APC, PDP, we are talking about the same family. We are talking about the same people because there's no clear-cut ideology. So when the political formation is not structured and ideology, it is natural that we practice what we have come to practice, which is power rotation. So if power has gone to the north, it should also come to the south. Call it APC or PDP, Buhari is from the north.
All right, at this point in time, some party stakeholders and chieftains within the People's Democratic Party are saying that as a result of what has happened, there's a great agitation for the party structures and that things might likely change going forward because by this time around, the Southerners have come to understand that their interests are not well being taken care of within the party system. But then the question some Nigerians are asking at this point, especially from the South region, would be going by the standpoint that if you followed that event, you'd see that Tambuwal's announcement actually came after all of the aspirants must have spoken before he retook the stand to make that declaration. The question Nigerians are asking, why didn't all the Southern aspirants converge at that same point and make a split-minute decision to also support themselves? And if that had happened, in your opinion, do you think Wike, who had also gathered some good number of votes from the northern side, would have emerged the winner?
Well, that would have equally, that is a bad politics in the first. That was even against the spirit of that convention. You don't allow an aspirant. I've never seen any convention in Nigerian entire political history and history of the world where an aspirant will have to address a convention twice. It has never happened anywhere. So that was a misnomer. That was the grand plan. That was what they had planned over time because they wanted to see the feelings of the people. So Tambuwal coming out, seeing the ovation enjoyed by Wike, decided to do what he did, to do the bidding of the Northern group.
Mr. Victor, at this point, sorry to cut you, at this point, there are also speculations that there are forces outside the People's Democratic Party who did not want to see the emergence of the person of Wike for some sentimental reasons. Would you be on that standpoint as well?
Well, I don't want the party. The party is run by people. The party has its own structure. So the party aligned. I won't believe that the party will sit still allow a foreign body to infiltrate the system and dictate where power goes. So if you have forces outside the People's Democratic Party dictating where the presidency goes, that's to tell you that the party is not in its control. But what I want to say is this: the South scenario, the South revelation, where the Southern people should be conscious of is Yocha Ayu, the Senate President, the former Senate President, who is now the chairman of the People's Democratic Party. In his acceptance speech there, he said something we are the world is waiting for him to do. He said, in course of my chairmanship, if a northern candidate emerges for the People's Democratic Party, immediately I am going to resign. So someone should tell Dr. Yocha that the war, the People's Democratic Party, is waiting for his best. And again, I don't like to see political powers, and especially heads of party, should be given to people who are responsible and patriotic. But when I say that, out of knowing to them at this point that the Southerners are aggrieved, and we expect the balanced party chairman to begin to prepare the very process of the constitution. But rather than immediately rush to congratulate Abubalu not with the a party that is structured towards one man, not the of other people.
All right. There's another angle to that, but before we get to ask that question, I'd like to, at this point, point you to the fact that at this point in time, Wike has already surrendered, according to some persons, by congratulating Atiku Abubakar, in as much as you've also cited that they probably should have come back home and then united again and then make a united stand. Going forward, what would you think, or what, in your opinion, does this portend for as a way of lesson for the South region?
Listen, my brother, I doubt the whole formula of this congratulations. Because what really happened is that Wike had the confidence I was going to win the election. He went ahead to make an open that even if the election is not in favor, he's going to support the party. Again, Wike also comes back realizing that he's feeling betrayed, feeling that other governments who have gone ahead to congratulate Atiku Abubakar. So in that case, he wouldn't want to look like a bad guy or a bad loser. You understand? Because he doesn't want to look like a bad loser. He also has to join in that fray. And if we check that after that reception, Wike has been very unwieldy in terms of public outing and public speaking. I don't see I don't want to, if I want to read his body structure, you will not see that Wike that campaign for Tambuwal in 2019. I bet you, just watch out. Don't see that very Wike that campaign. He will not keep the party. He is not going to stop the party from winning the election. He is not going to work against the party. But you will not see that Wike you saw in 2019.
All right. Shortly, we'll come back to you, but you have to hang on. At this point in time, we'll head out to take a news at the hour. And when we come back, we will reconnect you to talk about all the motions that we have on the floor of the House. Just stay with us. It's the People's Parliament coming to you live on Planet 101.1 FM. And it's been an interesting moment. And of course, right about now, we will be opening phone lines for parliamentarians to call in and, of course, get to make your contributions. And the number to call is 090-222-31011. The number again is 0902-223-1011 or 0817-624-8565. Get the calls coming as we try to reconnect with our studio guest. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Speaker.
Good morning. Welcome to the People's Parliament. The floor is yours, parliamentarian.
My name is Telephone Morgan.
Welcome, Mr. Telephone. Good to have you join us.
Yes. I just want to make some comments, especially on the motions that we have today. I've seen ASU strike. For me, ASU strike is a repeating decimal in the Nigerian system. I feel the only solution that we can have permanent solution to this ASU strike is if the Nigerian students are going to protest to the APC primaries, where they are going to have the rally. the convention. They stopped that convention because I remember that recently when airline people said they were not going to fly because of hiking
aviation fuel.
They that same night, the National Assembly met, they solved the whole problem that same night. The simply shows that they have the political will to solve problems that affect themselves and not the general the problems that affect the general masses. How much is 40 billion? How much is 50 billion? That someone, an accountant general, stole 160 billion in less than let's say 3 or 4 months. He stole such a money, and this is the same money that we have. Every month the government is borrowing to pay salaries. Why can't the government borrow to solve this ASU strike? Because they had an agreement with ASU. So it's a very big part. If they can stop all these political parties from primaries, they close INEC, the solution will come naturally. Then on the PDP issues of if the national chairman is from the north and this, I'm sure with events that is unfolding, when the party is ready for the general, or when the general election is almost there, after the general election, I'm sure the national chairman will resign. And those are internal issues. We should be more concerned. We should be more concerned about the president that is saying that the succession that is talking about succession instead of talking about black bearer for his party. That means he has already made up his mind to rig the election for APC. Then for state business environment, I want to say that our business, the environment is changing, especially from a civil service state to where people can do business and make money. But what I want to advise is that if a government can put in money into banks, microfinance banks, or if microfinance banks can start giving loans to small and medium scale enterprise, so that it can improve business. Because I know that the economy, any economy that is being said to be developing or developed, they survive from small and medium scale businesses. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
To make your contributions. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the People's Parliament.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to the People's Parliament.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, good morning.
The floor is yours, parliamentarian.
This is Godwin of Young from Ibadan. Yeah, I want to say that the last caller that said that the students will protest at the APC convention, it is not a good thing. It's uncalled for. I mean, this is a burden that APC are taking because of the misdeeds of the PDP of the last 16 years. So this thing didn't start now. It was right from the time of the PDP. So if the APC are taking the burden, that shouldn't be a problem. That is going to be resolved. I believe it's going to be resolved. So it shouldn't be an issue of a kind of NSAS protest.
Well, in a situation where so far we've seen the trends of things, you recall the Abuja-Kaduna train incident, and the federal government immediately commenced the reconstruction of the rail lines. You recall the aviation situation where the federal government immediately reacted to it. If academic or education is prioritized, don't you think the federal government would have equally taken the same actions? Hello, good morning, parliamentarian. Welcome to the People's Parliament.
Hello, good morning, Mr. President.
Mr. Speaker, I beg your pardon.
Mr. Speaker, sorry about that. I am very happy to be part and parcel of this program. The way I look at it is like the PDP is not ready to take over power in Nigeria, even in the Akwa Ibom state. Because if really they wanted to take over power, they wouldn't have zoned the presidency to the north again. Here, look at the Akwa Ibom state, look at the different factions in PDP. It's like they are not ready. They should put their house in order if really they want to take over power, both in Nigeria and Akwa Ibom state. But right now, the possibility of taking over power in Nigeria is not there because they supposed to zone the presidency to the north again. Thank you very much for having me. Comrade Emmanuel Okon.
Thank you very much for joining us, parliamentarian. We appreciate your coming on the People's Parliament. And of course, the number to call is 0902-223-1011 or 0817-624-8565. Hello, good morning, parliamentarian. Hello, good morning, parliamentarian.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the People's Parliament. Hello, parliamentarian. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Oh, sorry, we lost that call. Hello, good morning, parliamentarian.
Good morning.
Yes, welcome to the People's Parliament. The floor is yours.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. This is Hussein Ibrahim calling from Calabar.
Parliamentarian, the floor is yours.
Okay. I want to talk about PDP zoning power to the north. To me, so far so good. There is no need for PDP or people to be arguing that PDP should zone power to here or zone power to here. The only thing, let them struggle to collect power first. If they collect power, then they will have time now to decide where power to go. You did not collect steady. You want to tell driver that this is where you want to follow. It's not possible. So it's better for them to know how to struggle power first, to collect it later.
Thank you very much, parliamentarian, for joining us. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning, parliamentarian. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Yeah, good morning. Welcome to the People's Parliament. The floor is yours.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, good morning. This is Imodwa calling you from Ibiono.
Mr. Mo, go on.
Yes, I want to make a complaint this morning about the ravaging of cows still parading around in the night, operating and destroying farmland. I mean, I woke up this morning to see that half of my farmland has been completely destroyed by farm, and they do it operate in the night by now, and they go like 200 to 300 cows in the axis of Ibiono between Ita and Ikore from Okobo, that axis, and they have completely destroyed my farmland. I want to call the state government to do something about it.
All right. Please, Mr. Mo, you kindly send a text message to 090-7787-1987 so we can get to come around and investigate the situation and the story to actually be sure what you've told us this morning on the plenary is actually happening, and then we can go to the relevant authorities. Thank you for being part of today's plenary. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Madam Speaker.
Good morning. Welcome to the People's Parliament. Mr. Speaker, I beg your pardon. The floor is yours.
Okay. My name is Comrade Udeme Francis, calling from Bagate.
Go on.
Yes, I heard a panelist talking about the PDP zoning the presidency to the north and all of that. I can understand and recall that during the before the primaries, the PDP opened up that there is no zoning system in the party at the moment, that anybody is free to pick up the ticket. So they do not zone to anybody, to any area. It's just that it's quite unfortunate that it's being won by a northerner.
Well, as far as the PDP constitution is concerned, in elective position, it has been recorded within section 7 subsection 3c that power should be distributed in equity, justice and fairness, and it should be balanced between the south and the north. And going by that, before now, which has been the practice, it was expected that it should come to the south. So that's the background where the resource person was speaking from.
Yes, it's understood, but there's nothing we can do at the moment. There's absolutely nothing we can do at the moment. It has gone to it. It's just that the Southern aspirants were not in alliance to support themselves. If they had, maybe by now we would have been talking of Wike becoming the next presidential candidate for the party. Not somebody coming up to say that the PDP zone to this and that. It
All
is
right.
not.
Thank you very much, parliamentarian. We appreciate your comment. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the People's Parliament.
Good morning.
Good morning, parliamentarian. Welcome to the People's Parliament. The floor is yours. Hello, good morning. We lost that call. Hello, good morning. Please walk away from your radio set or turn down the volume.
I've done that. I've given off it now.
All right.
Good morning, everybody in the studio.
Good morning, parliamentarian. The floor is yours.
But I'm Okun. My name is Okun from Calabar.
Go on.
Please, I want to add to what the second to the last speaker spoke about the cattle moving up and down, destroying people's farm during the night time. And if you can call, that's why Imo State is one of the states that signed the bill in that state. That's to ban any kind of cow to move either in the night or in the day. So I don't know whether the government has replaced that law. If it is not, the government knows, because the people in the government have been hearing about that cow moving, destroying farmland. And this is the situation we see in our country, that farmland now is very, very important. But when you spend so much money and repair a farm and they destroyed by the cow, so the government should do something immediately. In the another thing, like in the part of APC, PDP, I hear some people saying that the students, because of the strike, the students in the block, the APC was a primary election that is coming up. If it was to be arranged that way, in order to balance the situation, in order not to cause more problem in the country, since there are two major parties.
All right, sorry, parliamentarian, we'll have to let you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning again.
Yes, Mr. Victor, we are reconnecting you. So let's quickly look into the issue of the ASU strike. There have been reports from the ASU president, in the presence of Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, that the current negotiations between the federal government led by Professor Nimi Briggs has been registering some level of success so far, in as much as they are yet to issue a statement. And you would recall that as a day before yesterday, we had the National Association of Nigerian Students from the South-South Zone kickstarting protests and issuing a 21-day ultimatum to the federal government to ensure that it addresses its issues with ASU and students get back to school. Looking at the present, the realities, do you see ASU coming out of the strike permanently once and for all?
Well, the general of every Nigerian that has comes out from this strike, from this problem, because it's really been a big problem for all of us. Now, I also make a recommendation that this country, until the Minister of Power refuses to put a generator, and until the Minister of Education refuses to send the children abroad, until Vice Chancellor's children stop schooling abroad. You see, you go to some houses built by Vice Chancellors, you find that even quite bigger and better than university, they are heading, and they ask yourself, where are these people getting all this money from? The same thing happened to our general social life and political life. So what we're saying is that, because it's a very pathetic situation, we have Chagari as a teacher heading this country, and we continue to have teachers problems, teachers crying every day. You had Jonathan then as a member of the House, Yara Adwa was a member of the House. So what we want people to do is that at this point in our history, we should be able to prioritize education. We should make education priority. We should make healthcare priority. We should make agriculture priority. Any country that wants to develop must make education. But again, I listen to some callers. You see, I want to tell our people is that you can politicize anything, don't politicize education. Because if you go to politicize education, like we're saying, go and stop the APC convention, why didn't you stop PDP convention when their former member was even, when the former president of PDP was even an ASU person? We don't play politics with all those things. All Nigerians should put their hands on deck and tell federal government to find a permanent solution to ASU strike. ASU themselves, they should also come up to the table not having a lecturer who is lecturing in doing part-time in arts, teaching in Akwa State Polytechnic, at the same time teaching at Abia State University, just to ensure that the income is enough to take him home. We want a permanent solution to it. We want a research institution. We want a university that can also, to some extent, take care of itself. Why government promotes it? See, we have come to a stage in this country where universities are created, even in other parts of the world. You find that universities created for certain class of people. You find it doesn't mean, if you check, it doesn't mean that the child you are sending to the highest private school in Nigeria today, it is not a guarantee that he will do better than the child in the public school, given a better environment to study.
All right.
So all of us come
together. All right. Quickly before we let you go, the alleged 80 billion naira fraud by the Accountant General of the Federation, Idris, has been in the news for some number of days now. And of course, you recall that as of yesterday, the EFCC spokesman Wilson Owujoran said the acting Accountant General has been indicted in the ongoing suit, talking about the personality of Anamekwe Nwabwoku, who is the acting Accountant General of the Federation. And of course, you recall that he was the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Finance and Budget before his appointment as the acting AGF. Given the reality of the things that has played out, what would be your comment as concerned what should be done towards his position now as the current acting Accountant General of the Federation?
Yes, this spokesperson and the spoke group shouldn't behave like a person of political party. At this juncture, they should do thorough investigation. Even if Buhari is indicted, they should keep the record and go for him after his office. Whoever is indicted, because the idea of picking one chief and making an announcement, then you pick another chief, you make an announcement, that could even conclude the investigations that are carrying on. They should do a thorough investigation. You see, this country will be deviled by corruption, and it is not time for anyone to close its eyes towards corruption. It's like people encouraging political impunity today, and tomorrow you will cry over that same political impunity because it's definitely falling. So all Nigerians should come out and voice out against corruption. But I want EFCC to speak less and do more. Anybody who is comfortable should be brought to book. That's the kind of thing we are looking up to. Not picking some Yahoo boys on the street. I don't encourage that. I don't think it's just Yahoo boys on the street. Go ahead and catch issue are really our problem. If corruption is stopped, we may stop being on strike. If corruption is stopped, we may stop having poor electricity. If corruption is stopped, we'll be talking about poor level of education. If corruption is stopped, we'll be crying about other global sectors like agriculture and technology.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Victor. We do appreciate you coming on the People's Parliament this morning.
That was my pleasure.
Thank you very much. You have a great day. So on this note, we are done with the first section of the People's Parliament, and our phone-in guest has been Mr. Victor Onomo, who is a public affairs and political analyst, and shortly we will be connecting with the second resource person. But before then, the numbers to call you already know is 080902-223-1011 or 0817-624-8565. We'll take some more calls before heading to our social media platform. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, good morning. Welcome to the People's Parliament. The floor is yours, Parliamentarian.
Yeah, I am Right Honorable Daniel. I'm calling from Shelter Africa Federal Constituency.
All right, the floor is yours.
Yeah, my take is this on this PDP issue. I think since they have decided to disregard the Constitution that entrenches zoning, I think they have just shot themselves fatally in the foot. There's no way they can win next year's election, except they decide to do what is right as by their own Constitution. That's by picking somebody from the South, because I know very well in my spirit that APC will nominate somebody from the South, and that will totally upset APC. They will not win the election next year. Number two, concerning the bumper programs that our governor said he has, as reflected in today's Pioneer, I just want to believe and pray that our governor is not trying to weaponize poverty in our land. Because I remember when it was time for election in 2019, he decided to give an extra salary, that's a Christmas bonus to workers. Yes, after that, he now went and gave some 10,000 naira each to the corpus of that particular year that we are in charge of elections. I hope that's not what he's trying to do this time around. Let him do what is right. Pay gratuity to workers and give everybody their due. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Parliamentarian, for joining us. We appreciate your coming on the People's Parliament this morning. While we're trying to connect with a second resource person, I'll take some more calls. Hello, good morning.
Madam Speaker, good morning.
Good morning, Parliamentarian. Welcome to the People's Parliament. The floor is yours.
Madam Speaker, good morning, all the parliamentarians. My name is Stanley. I call from Uyo.
All right, the floor is yours, Parliamentarian.
Madam Speaker, my take this morning.
Mr. Speaker, please.
My name is Stanley from Uyo.
Mr. Stallion, the floor is yours, but you can call me Mr. Speaker, not Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Oh, Mr. Speaker, thank you. Sorry.
Thank you.
I want to say something concerning PDP and the APC. I want to say that PDP, they're supposed to do it right by allowing fair play, by tuning presidential candidates to serve. Because if we want to do it right, we need to follow the Constitution. If you want to win election and win the heart of the people, tune it to the right place. Now, they want to blame APC. APC want to follow them because APC now have think that there is no tuning again. And I want to say that there is a lot of problems concerning PDP. Now, some people are saying Mike Konyong is authentic winning of primaries. Some people are saying Umoino to Umoino. But I want to say that our party, PDP, needs to do it right. Now that is too early. Because when it's late, people will be pointing finger at other people that they are the cause. But I want to plead with our leaders, our elders in the past.
All right, at this point in time, it is only the People's Democratic Party in Akwa Ibom State who are going to tell us who their flag bearer is. And we'll try to reach out to the PDP Public Service Secretary in Akwa Ibom State or the relevant leadership of the People's Democratic Party to come live on the People's Parliament and tell us who is the PDP flag bearer in Akwa Ibom State, because only they can authoritatively say who the flag bearer is. And on that note, I'll take some of the comments from the social media platform. Parliamentarian Christian Gabriel says, good morning, Mr. Speaker, and the other guests in the studio. Mr. Speaker, let me first of all wish my boss happy birthday. Yesterday was his birthday. His name is Victor Umondak, okay? As for us to strike, please let the federal government do something about that. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Christian Gabriel, for joining us on the People's Parliament. Parliamentarian Fred Oki says, good morning, Mr. Speaker. Nigeria is gradually becoming a failed state. Our leaders are just insensitive about the plight of the masses. ASU has been on strike since February, yet politicians are spending billions of naira to buy nominations form and campaign. It is sad because these monies, which I believe a good percentage, okay, I have to skip that comment. It has some derogatory statement. Hello, good morning, Mr. Speaker. Sir, ASU and the federal government case is what most Nigerians are tired of. If they like, they call off the strike. Even if they don't, they continue, Mr. Speaker. We move. Okay. Are you sure we're going to move on? Because we need the educational system to function properly. And then he goes on to say, Mr. Speaker, present administration of His Excellency Ubudom has done everything possible to make SMEs thrive in Akwa Ibom State, thereby improving the IGR of the state. Thank you very much, Parliamentarian, for joining us and making your contributions on the People's Parliament. Meanwhile, Parliamentarian Hobumor, before I come to you, we'll take a quick short break and head to BBC Pidgin News. But before then, I'll just quickly take your comment. Parliamentarian Hobumor says, I hope these secret talks will lead to an open agreement. Atiku's emergence is a lesson to learn. The North should not rule forever. Power must be rotational in order to improve a business environment. We need a sincere leader to invest our funds for genuine development and not personal or private establishment. Thank you very much, Parliamentarian hope at this point in time we go to take the BBC Pidgin News, and when we return, the People's Parliament continues. Do stay with us. Glad to know that you're still with us on the People's Parliament and the Friday edition of the plenary session. In no distant time, we'll be joined live. Okay, we have been connected. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
All right, good morning. You're live on the People's Parliament on Planet 101.1 FM. And of course, we know before now we had introduced you as Mr. Isuefia, who is a Unido entrepreneur instructor and South Director ASVAN. Good morning once again and welcome to the People's Parliament.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker.
All right. Good morning. Let's quickly talk about the Akwa Ibom State business environment. You would recall that on May 29th, the state governor had gave a speech where he mentioned some of the achievements of the present administration. And one of the key areas he emphasized on was in the area of industrialization, especially as concerns Ibom Air and all the businesses that the state government has kickstarted in Akwa Ibom. Now, as the director, the South coordinator of ASVAN, which has to do with artisans and entrepreneurs within the SMEs and MSMEs sector of the economy, how would you rate the Akwa Ibom business environment presently compared to days past?
Presently, the Akwa Ibom business environment, Mr. Speaker, is developing and is evolving. We are trying to come to terms with the present reality of doing business. We are not there yet. We are still trying to make things work. We are still trying to make things work. In that, when you talk of an environment being conducive for business, there are parameters that have to be put in place. The gap between the industry and the feeder trend to the industries does not have to be that large. But I want to say we are trying to get it right in Akwa Ibom State, and I believe it's not a straight-on 100-meter dash project. It will take time, but I think we are in the right direction. We have been given focus, we have been given direction, and I believe if we work on it, we are going to get it. The entrepreneurs in Akwa State, they are very energetic, they are very eager to begin to reap up from their investment into the industrial revolution that is coming up in Akwa Ibom State, if I may use that word. I believe it's just a matter of time. We are going to get it right.
All right. We know that as far as the Nigerian Export Promotion Council is concerned, that there are products, there are produce that have been designated across the different states of the Federation. And for Akwa Ibom State, we know that there are about 3 products that have been designated. How prepared do you think Akwa Ibom business persons or entrepreneurs are to begin to compete favorably in terms of product or export of export quality?
I think it's in this angle. I know we have 3 products that have been given to Akwa Ibom State, and we have not done anything about that. It's so sad and it's so unfortunate. But I was at a kiosk shop right at my area yesterday. I just picked up in the morning. I just picked up a peanut, packaged peanut. Not that I was eager to eat it. I said, let me just see what's inside. By the time I opened it, I found out that it was inflated with air, and just about 28 nuts of peanuts, not even well wrapped. And then I looked at where it was coming from. It was coming from Lagos State. That is export. They have exported their product from Lagos down here. We have imported that product down here. That is the problem with Akwa Ibom State. Our entrepreneurs, we are sorry to say this, we are too dependent on the government to get everything done for us. Somebody was accusing me the other day that, oh, you people government, you are not doing anything. I'm pushing my NAFDAC. I said, NAFDAC, we have brought NAFDAC. So we have done all we can. So we are taking you to SON, Standard
Organization of Nigeria.
Nigeria. We are taking you still give you money. You are a business woman, for God's sake. All we need to do is to make sure that we make the environment conducive for you. Whether government gives you money or not, you have to work your money out to get it done. Government has done gradual loan. Yes, we know there are some politics or not politics, some is doing in it. But don't do your bit. When you sell your product, you try to improve your product. Let me use that peanut. The products you're having in that peanut, Aquariums are doing very fantastic peanuts. They will lack packaging. And because everybody wants to run solo, when you get to where you're going, you can do collaboration. We lack that spirit of collaboration in this case.
All right, that quickly, let me hold you there. There have been two issues that have been raised about the Akwa Ibom State business environment. One of such has been the issue of funding, where entrepreneurs and would-be entrepreneurs say they do not have access to fund. And don't forget that we are a civil servant state so far. And we also know that the banks and the microfinance institutions are not doing the much needed work that they should be doing within the Akwa Ibom State community. So funding has always been a major issue for entrepreneurs and SMEs in Akwa Ibom State. And then the second issue has been the issue of collaboration. Now, in your position as the ASVAND South-South coordinator, what is your organization doing to encourage collaboration and, of course, encourage entrepreneurs to, find a basic or the best possible way to raise the needed capital for their businesses?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As an association, over time we have tried to bring businesses together to make sure that we coordinate them according to their clusters. I went to the Lagos International Trade Fair with one or two artisans, and we went there. And what I went there to do was not to sell my goods, was to make a contact. And I got a contact with the director industry, Plateau State. And it opened a door for me in the leather industry. And I came back and I called my shoe making people. I said, let's come together and see how we can harness that industry that's given me a lesson. We'll go there, we'll get this leather, because you said getting leather is difficult for you. Your business. We'll bring it down and we distribute it ourselves. They said no, they want to go individually. We took them to Bank of Industry. We said, let's come as a group. They said no, they want to go as individual. We did all we, because when we come as a collective cluster, it is easier for these bodies to disburse funds to us than to come in individually. Because what you need as individual is almost what you need as a cluster. And I tell God, nothing is aspect also. That they're clustering, they're bringing funds in bulk and giving it out.
All right. Shortly before we let you go, Mr. Esu, what would you be your advice to the emerging entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs in Akwa Ibom State, so that we wrap up?
Okay. My advice will be keep the dream going. Let's look for more collaboration. Let's look for how we can come together more and access these funds that are meant for clusters, not go individually. We should still keep knocking at the door of the government. I'm not saying government has done fantastically well. No. But we as the business people, we should keep ourselves together until we get it right. And I know I'm getting it right very soon.
All right. Quickly, a quick one that just came up from a message that just dropped. The issue of multiple tax has also been a problem that has been complained about by entrepreneurs in Akwa Ibom State. So far, has there been any improvement from the government axis in terms of cutting out the multiple tax system?
Mr. Speaker, I think the government has done the entrepreneurs injustice in that area. They have done nothing about covering the multiple tax. We have been complaining over and again, and they are paying tax here. It is not helping the business environment, especially the small micro industry. It's not helping us at all. The government has to do and they are being forced, and you see, we wrote a letter to the Ministry of Trade and Investment, and they are still waiting for those quotas to be built. They say they are going to take away people from
account.
All right, we'll try to reconnect with Mr. Isu, but he has raised some key issues there that we as parliamentarians have to look critically into. And the number to call is 09022231011 or 08176248565. Hello, good morning, parliamentarian.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Speaker. This is Hanson, the Great One, calling in from Orange.
Welcome, Mr. Hanson. The floor is yours.
Okay, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I've listened to lots of people trying to comment on the issue of PDP and how they happens to bring out the presidential and aspirants and then the power, okay, and many things that are playing out in it. But I'm telling you that the stance that the PDP are seemingly happening to take is no foolery, okay? They know what they are looking for, right? The PDP have seen, okay, because every political party has a group or the power that are running the party. And in order for the parties to have a future relevance and to continue to exist, okay, or take up power as the case may be in future, right, as the future trajectory maybe, okay. So they have seen that, of course, that is more.
Oh, sorry, we lost that call. Hello, good morning, parliamentarian. Welcome to the People's Parliament.
Yeah, Madam Speaker, good morning. Valentine.
All right, welcome to the People's Parliament. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. I want to kick on the question that you just asked the business man. I want to say that over here in Nigeria, Nigerians do suffer, especially the younger people. You know, move out to other clients, other countries like the United States. You see, at the age of 18 years, government do for them, which they can access their loan and they start up their business. And then that is how people do grow. But coming down to Nigeria, you see that other people do struggle to find the way to lay hands and they have a startup, and that is what is keeping us down. It's keeping our economy down because you don't find a younger person who can quickly have access to funds and then build up his business.
All right, thank you very much, parliamentarian. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the People's Parliament. Okay, always remember to turn down the volume of your radio set or walk away from it so that we can get to hear you. Parliamentarian Senefio says, good morning, Mr. Speaker. So Elder Tinubu is proud to give us Buhari as president. That's the more reason he shouldn't become president. Thank you for your contributions. Parliamentarian Anthony Oyoyo. Hello, good morning, parliamentarian.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Speaker.
Good morning, parliamentarian. Welcome to the People's Parliament. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is Morino calling from Anuaye, Noyo. Madam Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I beg your pardon.
Mr. Speaker, yeah, sorry, your voice look like the one of a female. That is why most of us, the caller, are calling you Madam Speaker. Sorry for that.
I guess at that point I have to deepen my voice.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, I want to talk about the PDP. Although, if you go by the name, no, I do listen to to People's Parliament, but I don't usually contribute. I contribute more on sports. I want to talk about the issue of Atiku emerging as the PDP flag bearer. The PDP as a family, they are celebrating that, yes, they have someone that will give them votes from the north. But Mr. Speaker, let me tell Nigeria and let me tell the entire Nigeria, they should mark it somewhere. If eventually Atiku comes out to be the president of this country, in 20 years, the South will never in any way produce a president. Go and mark it somewhere, because after Atiku 8 years, the APC will still strategize. APC will say, how can we wrestle power from PDP? Let us bring out a strong candidate from the north
Why by then, PDP will say, let us, since Atiku has come from APC, let us give it to the South. They will continue to gamble the South. The South will produce a candidate from PDP, while the North will produce a candidate from APC.
All right. Thank you very much, parliamentarian. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the People's Parliament.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Speaker.
Good morning. The floor is yours.
Mr. Speaker, I still try to stand up on issue between the nexus between the national chairman of the party, PDP, and the presidential candidate of the party. What relation do they have in zoning there? Zoning in the party talks about zoning the internal party structure. And if the Republic wants to talk about zoning in Republic, it should be a constitutional thing. I keep on saying this thing. For the sake of equity, there needs to be a balance between the South, the East, and the North in terms of votes, numbers of votes. And if the South, the East, and the North fail to have the same numbers of votes, they will still bounce on this problem. So it's a constitutional thing. In zoning in party, political party, they talk about the structure of the state, the party, national chairman of the party, the vice chairman of the party, and other principal officers of the party, in which zoning capture them and talk about how they're supposed to be made. So in this aspect, there is nothing wrong between Atiku being the flag bearer of the party and the national chairman of the party. I'm talking in respect of His Excellency Dr. Ayu. There's nothing wrong. They have no nexus. They have no correlation in terms of joining there. So,
all right, thank you very much, parliamentarian. Indeed, these are some dissenting opinions. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the People's Parliament.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker.
Good morning. The floor is yours, parliamentarian.
Hey, my name is Uwem. I'm calling you from Uyo. Yes, I want to say that what is Atiku want for all these decades to be a president in this country? Can pass from this dominant party to this one, APC to PDP. If Atiku wants to insist him to be a president in this country, let him go to the neutrality party, that neutral party, not the dominant party. Atiku wants to be a president of this country. What if he takes him to be a president? It wouldn't work that way. Let other people coming up to be a president, not the people that who will be benefiting this country for the almost 20 decades. Are they only them that God has been blessed? Are they have no other person? I think will come to.
All right, thank you very much, parliamentarian. And then Parliament Antonio Yoyo on our social media platform says, good morning, Mr. Speaker. On the cow issue at Ibiono, I am of the opinion, I guess that's what you wanted to say, that open grazing is illegal in Akwa Ibom State. So either the government treat it as much, otherwise the people will do. Remember the word of Martin Luther King Jr., which he said that riot is the voice of the unheard. The community will not remain calm forever. Indeed, a wise statement being made by Parliamentarian Antonio Yoyo. Thank you for joining us. Parliamentarian Crude Formation Udoka says, Mr. Speaker, the Southern governors and the elders stood their grounds and sworn to uphold the Southern region presidential ticket without any other alternative come 2023. Woe unto any leader from the Southern region who will accept to go for vice president on any platform. That's where there would be stalemate in the elections. That's when nothing votes alone will not bring out the presidential form. Thank you very much for your contributions. And of course, the parliamentarian Ulap Comrade Simon says, good morning, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, parliamentarians. The name Comrade Asuko Simon. My submission this morning is that no present leader will not impose candidate on as long as Nigeria is concerned, because it has been the system ever. But I strongly believe that their one vote cannot take their candidate to that position. Therefore, it is we, the electorate, to take that bold step and decide who to lead us. Otherwise, they will impose their successor on us. Indeed, it is the duty of the electorates to select who is going to be their leader, and that is the responsibility that we all have to take into consideration. Parliamentarian Fred Okitung, we've already taken your message. There's another one coming up from you. Parliamentarian Henry Uwa says, good morning, Mr. Speaker. In some countries, defrauding the state coffers results in life or death sentence, but in Nigeria, such cases are treated with levity. Thank you very much, Parliamentarian Henry. Parliamentarian Henry again on the ASU frequent strike is fast becoming a national shame. For 3 months now, meeting upon meetings, negotiations upon negotiations, yet no tangible result. IPT Nigerian students. Parliamentarian Noyedion says, good morning, parliamentarians. Me like this, I have come up with my political permutations come 2023. That is, if he come to South, His Excellency Dr. Senator Goswill Aboro-Pabio, this is the capable hand. If he goes to Southwest, His Excellency President Professor Yemi Osibanjo is the right man. And if he goes to the Southeast, then a fresh Labour Party of His Excellency Peter Obi will be the done deal. And anything short of this, then Nigerians should expect more hardship, if not God intervention, because it is seen no reason why presidential power should not be rotating around the geopolitical zone to the good and capable hands. Thank you very much. Parliamentarian OTSN says, good morning, Mr. Speaker. How about Madam Speaker in the person of Miracle Philip? Please, did the NANS national-wide protest hold? Well, the issue of Madam Speaker has been sorted, and the NANS has also been sorted. And you just follow us on the social media platform, and you see all the information that you need to take from there. Parliamentarian Bro John says the federal government should iron out issues with ASU to avoid dwindling our educational system. Recycling the same old persons like Atiku will not promote a decision, hence the need for Nigerians to vote grassroots leaders, blueprints, not dollars, influence aspirants. Thank you very much for your contribution. Parliamentarian Kash Mehro says, good morning, Mr. Speaker. ASU negotiations with the government should be made public. Discussing the future of many Nigerian youths in secret doesn't hold water. Parliamentarian Douglas Peter says, good morning, Mr. Speaker. ASU should know that any resolution of matters surrounding the objective of the national strike, which by the reason of the indifferent attitude of the government towards this over a decade demand, cannot meet their need for which they have been this series of long strike. The public will never see it comfortable with the academic body should any resumption eventually leads to another industrial action. Thus, any hanging rope on the neck of FG for which they are earning the public sympathy against the maltreatment of the FG should continue until the politicians resolve the issue. It will be highly disgraceful and embarrassing to the nation if the prosecuted body yields and agrees as usual to the cunning romance of the federal government to resume again without a due and a lasting treatment to this. ASU and our students have been fooled enough. Let's get it once and for all. Indeed, that is the standpoint of ASU and the Nigerian student at this point. Parliamentarian Trust Esquire says, good morning, Mr. Speaker. My expectations from ASU is low because I'm fed up on their negotiation with the federal government, and from the way things are going with the union, I would advise my fellow students to make the most out of this period. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the People's Parliament.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker.
Good morning. Welcome to the People's Parliament. The floor is yours.
Yes, my name is Kingsley Utuku. I'm calling from you. Please, about the issue of ASU, I'm supporting the students to strike, to protest, because it has been, starting from February, they have been enough patient for the federal government, and they are fighting for the unborn brain of our nation, to put education the way it is in other nations. That's what I have to say this morning. Please, don't put our nation in order. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Parliamentarian, for joining us. And Parliament Samuel Ibu says, good morning, Mr. Speaker, and the guest. ASU strike affects the public, therefore no meeting or agreement should be shrouded in secrecy. Every issue pertaining to the strike should be resolved once and for all. We don't want to see them coming up with strike every month after this time. And the second issue, haven't seen Atiku emergence fostering any unity, but rather it brings to bear the affirmation of the Northerners wishing to hold on and remain in power forever. And then on the third issue, our justice process is now among the best, and I don't expect to see the former accountant general getting punished. It is just a matter of days. The guy will be exonerated, and a lot of persons will not be surprised. Thank you for your contributions. And the last comment we will be taking on the social media platforms coming from Parliamentarian Prince Aneti and Mboso Uwo, Parliamentarian Akebasi Leo Ekpenyong. We all appreciate you. It says, good morning and happy weekend. Nigerian students should move to the venue of where the APC will do their primaries on the accountant general. He should be in prison by now. And then Mboso says, good morning all. Finally, ASU and FG is working. I pray for a good feedback. Thank you. And the last comment we have, Akebasi, good morning, Mr. Speaker. My name is Akebasi Leo Ekweyong. I dropped out of school because of money to continue my education. Please, I really need help and sponsor from the government and also the individual. Thank you very much for joining us, Akebasi. We appreciate your joining. And the last call we have for today. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the People's Parliament.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker.
All right, you have about 60 seconds to wrap up.
Yes, my name is Ofiong Augustine. I'm calling from Akobo local government. I'm Akobo.
The floor is yours.
My point is this. I hate hearing whether this one is from North, whether this one is from South. I think if the Southerners want to hold the presidency, they should learn the politics. Tambuwa stepped down for Atiku. Why was it not possible for the Southerners contesting for that position to come together?
All right. Thank you very much, parliamentarians, from the social media platform to the phone in to our guests. We appreciate you for being part of today's edition of the People's Parliament, coming to you live on Planet 101.1 FM. It's been an interesting plenary week, and I want to believe that we have done justice to some key issues of great public importance to the development and advancement of society. Join me same time, same station, starting next week, Monday, from the 6th. And we will get to kickstart another interesting plenary session live on Planet 101.1 FM. Revolving around you is what we do best. My name is Francis A. Date. And for those who still call me Madam Speaker, I think it's about time I try to deepen my voice. But that was on a lighter note. Catch you again next week and to have a wonderful, lovely weekend.